မင်းတို့ပတ်ထားကြပြပြပဲကြားလားအားလုံး
Want to vote the vote.
မင်းပွင့်ဆိုင်ကွာဒီတော့အခုချက်ချင်းတပ်လိုက်လို့ရတယ်နဲ့ဒါနဲ့အဲ့ဒီက
Shada Yuba.
သူ့ကိုတီခေါ်ခဲ့တီခေါ်လာခဲ့
Peba me con. Peba me bia.
မင်းလုံးတပ်လိုက်မယ်တန်နောက်ဆုံးပါ Joe!
Would have raped her 50 times.
What just happened?
We got through it.
We'll complete
A commitment.
Hope where there is sadness. Love as to love, it is in dying.
ตีได้ก่อนดิอย่าเล่น
Malat Chamale.
We're gonna come hunting our asses down when these guys don't show.
Unless it doesn't want to be someplace else.
15 minutes. Set your watches to 140.
There's two of them in the cage, near the pigs. Get them. There's one of them in there. Run.
That's the deal. We're leaving. Let's go. Still alive. One more time. I will.
This way.
Let's move out.
I was trying to help.
Go. Go!
Hang on it! Hang on it! Stop it! Stop! Stop it now!
Wait, what is it?
Son of a bitch.
Oh, God.
You fucking! Come on, you fucking have a go!
Oh, God.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the unapologetically brutal and surprisingly thoughtful 2008 film simply titled Rambo, the fourth installment in a series that just keeps giving us more explosions per minute. This is the extended cut, so buckle up for maximum carnage and maybe a little more backstory. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. We open in Burma, or Myanmar, where the military junta is, to put it mildly, not having a great time with its own people. Specifically, the Karen villagers are being systematically targeted, massacred, and generally subjected to horrors that make you wonder if humanity ever really learned anything. We see some truly harrowing scenes of violence, setting a grim, dark tone right from the jump, establishing the high stakes and the sheer evil Rambo will soon confront. Cut to Thailand, where our man John Rambo, looking like he's aged about 50 years since his last outing and acquired a serious case of just leave me alone vibes, is living a quiet, if rather reptilian life. He's catching venomous snakes, probably pondering the philosophical implications of being a one-man war machine in retirement and running a boat repair business. His peaceful existence is soon interrupted by a group of American missionaries. Now, these aren't your typical tourists. Led by the earnest Sarah Miller and the equally idealistic Michael Burnett, they want to travel upriver into Burma. Their mission? Deliver medical supplies and Bibles to the persecuted Karen villagers. Rambo, bless his weary soul, immediately smells trouble. He's seen this movie before, probably several times, and knows that good intentions often end up needing a body bag delivery service in this part of the world. He flat out refuses, telling them, go home. You know, just a friendly, gentle suggestion. But Sarah, bless her persistent heart, isn't about to take no for an answer. She argues that the villagers need help, that their faith compels them to act. She presses him, reminding him that everyone has a purpose. Rambo, clearly uncomfortable with being reminded of his own deeply buried purpose, finally gives in. Maybe it's Sarah's unwavering gaze. Maybe it's the weight of his past. Or maybe he just ran out of polite ways to say, I'd rather wrestle a crocodile with my bare teeth. Either way, he agrees to take them, but not without a stern warning. War is his specialty, not theirs, and they should be ready for the ugly truth of it. This is the moment where we all know Rambo's retirement plan just got spontaneously combusted. He preps his boat, the engine roars to life, and our mismatched crew sets off into the heart of darkness, metaphorically speaking, but also literally because Burma is pretty dark right now. Their river journey is, predictably, not a leisurely sightseeing cruise. The calm doesn't last long before they encounter a gang of heavily armed river pirates. These guys are the textbook definition of bad news bears, snarling, threatening, and clearly not interested in discussing the merits of missionary work. They demand Sarah, making it very clear what their intentions are. Michael and the other missionaries are terrified, trying to reason with the brigands, but Rambo knows reason isn't in these guys' vocabulary. This is where the old Rambo starts to peek out from behind the quiet snake catcher. The tension builds like a slow-burning fuse. You can almost hear the metal-on-metal clang of his hidden knives being sharpened in the background. And then, with the suddenness of a thunderclap, Rambo moves. There's no hesitation, no fancy speeches, just pure, visceral efficiency. He grabs one pirate, snaps his neck with a sickening crack, and the fight is on. It's not a pretty fight, folks. It's a furious, animalistic ballet of violence. Rambo uses a machete, his bare hands, and the pirate's own weapons against them. The thud of bodies hitting the deck, the splash of blood, the terrified gasps of the missionaries, it's a jarring symphony of chaos. He clears the boat of pirates in a matter of seconds, leaving a scene of horrific carnage in his wake. The missionaries are utterly shock-shelled, their wide eyes reflecting the sheer brutality they just witnessed. Michael especially is horrified, accusing Rambo of being no better than the men he just killed. Rambo, ever the poet, simply says, "They would have taken her. What do you do?" A fair point, sir. A fair point. After that rather intense welcome to Burma moment, Rambo continues the journey, eventually delivering the missionaries to the Karen village. It's a small, impoverished settlement, but the villagers greet the aid workers with genuine warmth and hope. The missionaries immediately get to work, setting up their makeshift clinic, treating the sick, and distributing supplies. Sarah is particularly compassionate, connecting with the children and offering comfort where she can. It's a brief respite, a glimpse of the good that these people are trying to do, a stark contrast to the darkness Rambo embodies, but it also makes the impending doom feel even more tragic. Rambo watches from a distance, a silent guardian, his face a mask of weary resignation, knowing this temporary peace is fragile, like a spider's web in a hurricane. He's seen this pattern before, and it rarely ends with rainbows and kittens. And just as Rambo predicted, the fragile peace shatters. The Burmese military, under the command of the utterly sadistic Major Pa Ti Tint, descends upon the village like a plague. This isn't a skirmish, it's an outright massacre. Soldiers storm in, guns blazing, committing unspeakable atrocities against the unarmed villagers. The sounds of gunfire, screams, and explosions rip through the once peaceful settlement. The missionaries are caught in the chaos, desperately trying to protect the children. It's a truly harrowing sequence, depicting the full horror of the conflict. Limbs fly, bodies fall, and the sheer volume of injustice is overwhelming. Michael tries to intervene, but he's no match for the armed soldiers. Sarah is captured, along with Michael and the surviving villagers. Rambo, who had departed earlier, hears the distant sounds of the attack, a familiar, sickening symphony of destruction that pulls him back into the fray, whether he wants to or not. He knows that gut-wrenching feeling of not being able to protect those who trust him, like a grizzled old pit bull who just had his favorite chew toy stolen by a pack of hyenas. He's not just angry. He's past angry. He's in full-blown, no-holds-barred Rambo mode. Back in Thailand, Pastor Arthur, the head of the missionary organization, arrives. He's clearly frantic, having not heard from his team. He tracks Rambo down to his remote boathouse, demanding answers about the missing missionaries. Rambo, with his usual concise delivery, explains what happened. Pastor Arthur, being a man of action despite his cloth, informs Rambo that he's hired a group of highly skilled and presumably highly expensive mercenaries to rescue the captives. He believes this is the only way to get them out alive. The mercenaries are due to arrive, and Rambo, now having a personal stake in this, agrees to guide them upriver. It's like hiring a SWAT team and then asking their grizzled old retired general to lead them into battle. What could possibly go wrong? Other than, everything? Rambo meets the mercenary team, and it's a motley crew to say the least. There's Lewis, the leader, Schoolboy, the sniper, Reese, the heavy weapons guy, Diaz, the tough guy, and Inju, the quiet tracker. They're all hardened professionals, but they view Rambo with a mixture of skepticism and mild disdain, probably thinking he's just some old boatman. They're confident, bordering on arrogant, and clearly underestimate the severity of the situation and the man who's about to lead them. They discuss strategy, look at maps, and Rambo gives them the cold, hard truth about the Burmese army. He warns them that this isn't some walk in the park. These soldiers are brutal, unyielding, and have no concept of rules of engagement. It's a classic old dog teaches new tricks to younger, cockier dogs. Except the old dog is a walking, breathing arsenal of pain, and the young dogs are about to get a crash course in true terror. The air crackles with unspoken tension, a prelude to the storm that's brewing. Under the cloak of night, Rambo pilots his boat, navigating the treacherous river with expert precision, leaving the mercs to nervously fidget with their gear. The jungle is thick and oppressive, its silence broken only by the hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. This is Rambo's element, a world of shadows and instinct. The mercenaries, for all their bravado, begin to realize they're in over their heads. They're good at their job, but Rambo operates on a different plane of existence, a place where survival is measured in milliseconds and brute force meets cunning. He scouts ahead, moving with an almost supernatural stealth, observing the enemy patrols, the watchtowers, the barbed wire fences. It's a well-organized, ruthless operation, not some amateur-hour outpost. The sheer number of soldiers and the brutality of their methods become clear. They witness guards torturing and executing prisoners, a stark reminder of the evil they're up against. Rambo plans his approach with meticulous care, relying on his intimate knowledge of jungle warfare and the enemy's psychology. Schoolboy, initially skeptical, starts to develop a grudging respect for Rambo's almost preternatural awareness. He's not just a guide, he's a living legend in the making, or rather, in the remaking, because we've seen this before, and it always ends with a lot of bad guys regretting their life choices. The plan takes shape, silent, deadly, and absolutely reliant on precision. Under the oppressive shroud of night, the rescue mission begins. Rambo takes point, as always. He moves like a phantom, his massive frame utterly silent. He pulls out his signature bow and arrow, a tool of silent, deadly precision. A guard falls without a sound, an arrow buried deep in his throat. Another quickly follows. The mercenaries follow his lead, their suppressed weapons whispering death into the jungle air. It's a masterclass in stealth infiltration, a symphony of quiet takedowns. The tension is palpable. Every shadow holds a potential enemy. Every rustle of leaves could betray their presence. They systematically clear the perimeter, eliminating sentries and disabling alarms. This isn't a frontal assault. It's a surgical strike, designed to minimize casualties on their side and maximize chaos on the enemy's. The first phase of the plan is executed with ruthless efficiency, paving the way for the main breach. The mercenaries are now fully aware that Rambo isn't just an old man. He's the apex predator in this environment. The team breaches the barracks where the captives are held. Suddenly, the silence explodes into a cacophony of gunfire, shouts, and explosions. The Burmese soldiers, initially caught off guard, rally and return fire. It's a chaotic, brutal firefight in cramped quarters. The mercs are good, very good, laying down suppressing fire, moving with tactical precision. Reese unleashes a storm of lead from his heavy machine gun, ripping through plywood walls and bodies with equal ease. Diaz uses his shotgun to devastating effect, clearing rooms with thunderous blasts. But the Burmese soldiers are numerous and fanatical, showing no quarter. The metallic clang of expended shell casings hitting the floor, the guttural screams of dying men, the sharp crack of rifle fire. It's a sensory overload of pure, unadulterated combat. They're outnumbered, but they're not outgunned, thanks to their training and gear. This is the moment.
Rambo races back to the village, the growl of his boat engine cutting through the jungle air, and what he finds is a scene from hell. The village is completely destroyed, littered with bodies, charred remains, and the lingering stench of death and gunpowder. It's a chilling testament to the efficiency of pure evil. He navigates through the devastation, his face a mask of cold fury, but also a deep sorrow. This is what he tried to prevent. This is why he said no in the first place. He discovers a lone, traumatized survivor, barely clinging to life, who, through broken words, confirms that the soldiers took Sarah, Michael, and others. The revelation solidifies Rambo's purpose. His quiet life is officially over. The war is back, and Rambo is ready for it. Like a grizzled old pit bull who just had his favorite chew toys stolen by a pack of hyenas. He's not just angry, he's past angry. He's in full-blown, no-holds-barred Rambo mode. Back in Thailand, Pastor Arthur, the head of the missionary organization, arrives. He's clearly frantic, having not heard from his team. He tracks Rambo down to his remote boathouse, demanding answers about the missing missionaries. Rambo, with his usual concise delivery, explains what happened. Pastor Arthur, being a man of action despite his cloth, informs Rambo that he's hired a group of highly skilled and presumably highly expensive mercenaries to rescue the captives. He believes this is the only way to get them out alive. The mercenaries are due to arrive, and Rambo, now having a personal stake in this, agrees to guide them upriver. It's like hiring a SWAT team and then asking their grizzled old retired general to lead them into battle. What could possibly go wrong? Other than, everything. Rambo meets the mercenary team, and it's a motley crew, to say the least. There's Lewis, the leader, Schoolboy, the sniper, Reese, the heavy weapons guy, Diaz, the tough guy, and Anju, the quiet tracker. They're all hardened professionals, but they view Rambo with a mixture of skepticism and mild disdain, probably thinking he's just some old boatman. They're confident, bordering on arrogant, and clearly underestimate the severity of the situation and the man who's about to lead them. They discuss strategy, look at maps, and Rambo gives them the cold, hard truth about the Burmese army. He warns them that this isn't some walk in the park. These soldiers are brutal, unyielding, and have no concept of rules of engagement. It's a classic old dog teaches new tricks to younger, cockier dogs, except the old dog is a walking, breathing arsenal of pain, and the young dogs are about to get a crash course in true terror. The air crackles with unspoken tension, a prelude to the storm that's brewing. Under the cloak of night, Rambo pilots his boat, navigating the treacherous river with expert precision, leaving the mercs to nervously fidget with their gear. The jungle is thick and oppressive, its silence broken only by the hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. This is Rambo's element, a world of shadows and instinct. The mercenaries, for all their bravado, begin to realize they're in over their heads. They're good at their job, but Rambo operates on a different plane of existence, a place where survival is measured in milliseconds and brute force meets cunning. He scouts ahead, moving with almost a supernatural stealth, observing the enemy patrols, mapping out their movements. It's a tense, slow burn of a journey, punctuated by moments of near discovery where the rustle of a leaf or the snap of a twig could mean instant death. The stakes are getting higher, the air getting thicker with the scent of impending conflict, and you can almost feel the jungle holding its breath. They eventually reach the vicinity of the Burmese army camp, a sprawling, heavily guarded compound where the hostages are being held. Rambo, along with Schoolboy, the sniper, goes ahead to scout. They crawl through the dense jungle moving like ghosts, observing the enemy patrols, the watchtowers, the barbed wire fences. It's a well-organized, ruthless operation, not some amateur hour outpost. The sheer number of soldiers and the brutality of their methods become clear. They witness guards torturing and executing prisoners, a stark reminder of the evil they're up against. Rambo plans his approach with meticulous care, relying on his intimate knowledge of jungle warfare and the enemy's psychology. Schoolboy, initially skeptical, starts to develop a grudging respect for Rambo's almost preternatural awareness. He's not just a guide, he's a living legend in the making, or rather in the remaking, because we've seen this before.
The escape from the camp is a frantic, desperate dash through the dense jungle. The Burmese military, enraged by the successful rescue, pursues them relentlessly. The jungle, once a sanctuary, now feels like a death trap. Branches snap, leaves rustle with the movement of countless soldiers, and the air is thick with the buzzing of bullets. Rambo and the mercenaries form a protective perimeter around the civilians, returning fire whenever possible. Schoolboy, the sniper, takes up a position, picking off pursuers with chilling accuracy, the sharp crack of his rifle echoing through the trees. Every few steps, they have to stop and engage a new wave of enemies. The sound of heavy machine gun fire ripping through the foliage sends shivers down your spine. It's a testament to Rambo's leadership and the mercs' professionalism that they even make it this far. The jungle itself seems to become an active participant in the chase,
hindering some, providing cover for others, but ultimately witnessing the raw, primal struggle for survival. They need to get to the river, and fast. But the jungle doesn't give up its secrets, or its prey, easily. They finally reach Rambo's boat, a beacon of hope in the suffocating jungle. They pile in, exhausted but relieved. Rambo cranks the engine and the boat roars to life, cutting through the water. But the Burmese soldiers are smart, or perhaps just lucky. They've anticipated the escape route. Suddenly, the riverbanks erupt with gunfire. It's an ambush, pure and simple, and a devastating one. Heavy machine guns, rifles, and rocket-propelled grenades rain down on the fleeing boat. The water around them froths with bullet impacts, the air filled with the whine of ricochets. The missionaries huddle low, screaming in terror. The mercenaries return fire, but they're heavily outmatched in terms of position and numbers. It's a desperate race against time and overwhelming firepower. One of the mercenaries, Diaz, is hit, screaming in pain, but still firing. It's utter chaos, the kind that makes your ears ring long after the scene is over. Rambo, ever the stoic, navigates the boat through the storm of lead, trying to keep them all alive. But even he knows this is a losing battle if they don't get some serious backup. This is where you start thinking, oh, good, Rambo's about to do something truly spectacular. Just when all hope seems lost, when the boat is riddled with bullet holes and casualties are mounting, salvation arrives from an unexpected quarter. The Karen rebels, who have been quietly fighting their own guerrilla war against the junta, emerge from the jungle like avenging spirits. Led by a fierce female commander, they launch a brutal counterattack on the Burmese soldiers on the riverbanks. The sound of their older but still deadly rifles joining the fray is a welcome sound. It's a full-blown jungle firefight now, a desperate, chaotic free-for-all. Rambo, seeing the opportune moment, steers the boat towards the fighting, knowing that a united front is their only chance. The clatter of their AK-47s, the rhythmic thud of mortars, and the fierce shouts of the Karen warriors mix with the screams of the Burmese soldiers. The odds are still against them, but now at least they have a fighting chance. This is where the movie shifts from a rescue mission to a full-scale liberation attempt, because when Rambo teams up, things get exponentially more explodey. And here it is, folks, the moment we've all been waiting for. Rambo, fully unleashed, fully weaponized. He spots a mounted .50 caliber machine gun, probably still warm from its previous, less skilled user. He doesn't hesitate. He swings it around, mounts it onto a jeep, and lets rip. The roar of that .50 cal is deafening, a monstrous symphony of destruction. It tears through the jungle, through bodies, through vehicles, through anything foolish enough to stand in its path. The Burmese soldiers are mown down in droves, their tactics utterly useless against the sheer, overwhelming firepower and the unbridled fury of Rambo. This isn't just a weapon, it's an extension of his will. The sheer impact of the bullets, the way they throw bodies like rag dolls, is horrific and mesmerizing all at once. It's a masterclass in don't bring a knife to a machine gun fight, especially if the machine gun is wielded by Rambo. The recoil, the spent casings raining down, the smell of gunpowder, it's an absolute sensory onslaught that cements Rambo's status as the ultimate one-man army. The ground literally shakes under the continuous torrent of lead. The battle escalates into an all-out war zone. Rambo, not content with just the .50 cal, switches back to his bow, but this time he's got explosive arrows. He aims, fires, and a Burmese jeep erupts in a massive fireball, sending shrapnel and bodies flying. He targets another, then another. The explosions are concussive, the sound rattling your bones. The mercenaries and Karen rebels fight alongside him, emboldened by his sheer ferocity. Reese and Diaz are laying down heavy fire, schoolboys taking out high-value targets, and even the missionaries are helping the wounded amidst the chaos. Major Pa T. Tent, the villain, is seen barking orders, trying desperately to regain control. But it's too late. The tide has irrevocably turned. The jungle itself seems to be fighting back, with Rambo as its wrathful avatar. The metallic tang of blood mixes with the smell of burning fuel and gunpowder. This isn't just a fight. It's an exorcism of evil, a catharsis of violence, and Rambo is the priest, delivering the final rites with extreme prejudice. Every punch, every bullet,
Every explosion is delivered with bone-shattering impact. It's a truly chaotic, yet somehow organized, symphony of destruction. In the thick of the brutal melee, Rambo spots Major Paw T. Tint, the architect of so much suffering, attempting to flee. Rambo gives chase, his eyes narrowed with lethal intent. There's no negotiation, no surrender, just the inevitable confrontation. He tackles Tint, and it's a short, savage, and deeply personal struggle. Rambo, with a primal roar, disembowels Tint with his signature knife, ripping through his torso in one horrific motion. It's a shockingly graphic moment, yet an undeniably satisfying one of justice for all the atrocities Tint committed. The sound of Tint's final gurgling scream is swallowed by the ongoing din of battle. With the serpent's head cut off, the remaining Burmese forces quickly lose morale and are overwhelmed. The sheer visceral impact of the moment is unsettling, but in the context of Rambo's world, it's a necessary, albeit gruesome, conclusion. The silence that follows Tint's death, amidst the residual gunfire, is almost louder than the explosions themselves. It feels like the air itself is exhaling a collective sigh of relief. The battle is finally over, the jungle slowly quieting down, filled with the groans of the wounded and the eerie silence of the dead. Sarah approaches Rambo, her face etched with exhaustion and gratitude. She thanks him, truly thanks him, for saving them all. Michael is there too, visibly changed by the horrors he witnessed, but also by the brutal salvation Rambo provided. The other missionaries and villagers are safe, free from Tint's tyranny, at least for now. But Rambo isn't one for heartfelt goodbyes or lingering conversations. His mission is done, his debt paid. He simply nods, turns, and walks away from the river, disappearing back into the jungle just as he arrived. He's a force of nature, an instrument of war, and once the war is over, he retreats, his purpose fulfilled until the next injustice calls. The mercs and rebels watch him go, knowing they just fought alongside a legend. The weight of his actions, the lives he saved, and the violence he wielded lingers in the air, a stark reminder of the dark necessities of a brutal world. It's a moment of profound relief, but also a haunting one.
And then, in a quiet, almost poetic epilogue, we see Rambo back in the United States, walking down a long, dusty dirt road in Arizona. He's not running, not fighting, just walking, a solitary figure against the vast landscape. He approaches a familiar-looking mailbox, battered and weathered, with the name R. Rambo faintly visible. It's his father's ranch, his ancestral home. The cycle, it seems, has finally come full circle. Or perhaps it's just beginning a new one. It's a powerful image of a man trying to find peace after decades of war, a symbol of hope that even the most broken among us can eventually find their way back to where they belong. The brutality of Burma is a world away, replaced by the quiet, comforting expanse of home. He's finally heading home, not to fight, but perhaps, just perhaps, to rest. It's a moment of quiet reflection, a profound end to a truly explosive journey, leaving us to ponder the cost of war and the enduring spirit of a man who keeps fighting for those who can't.
John Rambo, a decorated Vietnam War veteran, now lives a quiet life on a ranch in Arizona, tending to horses and harboring deep-seated PTSD. His peace is shattered when Gabriela, the granddaughter-like figure he adores, crosses into Mexico to find her estranged father. She is swiftly kidnapped and brutalized by a ruthless cartel, forcing Rambo to unleash his dormant warrior instincts, transforming his tranquil home into a deadly labyrinth for a final, brutal reckoning. Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the blood-soaked, emotionally charged final chapter of a true action legend, Rambo: Last Blood. Get ready, because this one doesn't pull any punches, and neither will I as we explore every bone-crunching, explosion-laden moment. It's a wild ride from the quiet solitude of a ranch to the brutal heart of a cartel war, and then back again for a grand finale that would make any home security system jealous. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more. The film opens with a visceral scene that immediately reminds us who Rambo is, even after all these years. We're in the mountains, a torrential downpour lashing down, thunder rumbling deep in the canyons, and Rambo, now older, with his signature weathered face and steely gaze, is on a rescue mission. A group of hikers, caught in a sudden violent storm, are trapped and struggling. The wind howls, a terrifying shriek that cuts through the rain as Rambo navigates the treacherous terrain on horseback, his every movement economical and purposeful. He finds them, a young woman caught in a fast-moving current, her cries for help barely audible above the deluge. He plunges into the raging water, the cold, dark current immediately testing his strength, the roar of the river deafening. With brute force and an almost primal instinct, he pulls her to safety, the sheer exertion evident in the tight lines around his eyes. The other hikers are then guided to safety, the relief palpable, a stark contrast to Rambo's stoic demeanor. This isn't a heroics display for him, it's simply what he does, a silent continuation of a life dedicated to protecting. The scene serves as a potent reminder that while the wars may be over, the warrior within Rambo still lives, honed and ready, even if he wished it weren't so. It's a quiet opening, yet loud with the implications of his past and the skills that remain. We then transition to Rambo's life on the ranch in Bowie, Arizona. It's a sprawling, rustic place filled with horses he cares for with a gentle hand and a network of underground tunnels he's painstakingly dug and maintained. This labyrinth beneath his feet isn't just a hobby, it's a manifestation of his PTSD, a secure, private space that offers control and a sense of safety he rarely finds above ground. The air smells of dry earth and horses, a stark contrast to the metallic tang of battle he's known. He lives with Maria, an old family friend and housekeeper, a woman who understands his silences and his past without judgment. But the true light of his life is Gabriella, Maria's granddaughter, a bright, ambitious young woman who he has raised and protected as his own. She's graduating high school, a momentous occasion that fills the ranch with a rare warmth and hope. Rambo watches her with a quiet pride, a flicker of genuine happiness in his eyes. Their bond is incredibly strong. She's the anchor that keeps him tethered to the present, a reason to find peace. Gabriella speaks Spanish with Maria, moving fluidly between cultures, and her youthful energy breathes life into the dusty ranch. It's a serene picture, almost idyllic, a hard-won peace for a man who has known nothing but war. The gentle rustle of the wind through the tall grass and the occasional whinny of a horse are the only sounds to break the quiet, a stark, almost fragile tranquility. However, this fragile peace is about to be shattered. Gabriella, now 18, confides in Rambo and Maria her long-held desire to meet her biological father, Miguel, who abandoned her and her mother years ago. Maria is immediately against it, her voice firm, filled with the wisdom of experience, warning Gabriella that Miguel is a bad man, not worth her time or emotional investment. Rambo, too, expresses his concern, his voice low rumble, advising caution, the dangers of the world he knows too well etched into his expression. But Gabriella, with the idealism and stubbornness of youth, believes she can get answers, find closure. She wants to know why. She makes plans to travel to Mexico with her friend, Gigi, convinced that seeing him will finally give her peace. The air in the house grows thick with unspoken tension, the quiet calm broken by the clinking of dishes as Maria cleans, her movements sharp with worry. Rambo, meanwhile, watches Gabriella, his concern a palpable weight in the room, his mind already calculating the risks, a subtle shift in his posture, a readiness beginning to stir within him. He tries to dissuade her gently, but her determination is set. It's a classic setup, isn't it? The hero's quiet life, the innocent youth, and the allure of a forbidden journey. What could possibly go wrong? Despite their warnings, Gabriella, along with Gigi, crosses the border into Mexico. The vibrant, bustling streets of Mexico City are a stark contrast to the quiet Arizona ranch. She finds her father, Miguel, but the reunion is anything but heartwarming. He's a cold, indifferent man, seemingly annoyed by her presence, his words cutting and dismissive. He tells her she means nothing to him, a harsh rejection that slices through her hopeful facade. Gigi tries to comfort her, but Gabriella is devastated, her dream of connection turning to ash. As they leave, heartbroken and lost, they decide to stop at a local club, a seemingly innocuous decision meant to lift Gabriella's spirits. This is where things take a dark turn. A man, who Gigi knows, offers Gabriella a drink, which she accepts, thinking nothing of it. This seemingly friendly gesture, however, is a classic trap, a chilling precursor to the horror that awaits. The club pulsates with loud, thumping music, a dizzying array of lights, creating a chaotic backdrop for her vulnerability. The drink is drugged, and Gabriella quickly loses consciousness, slumping forward amidst the revelry. The sensory overload of the club becomes a disorienting, terrifying blur as she's dragged away, Gigi's frantic calls going unheard amidst the din. Back on the ranch, Maria is frantic. Gabriella hasn't returned and isn't answering her phone. The worry in her voice is a sharp, high-pitched plea that cuts through Rambo's stoic calm. He immediately swings into action, his years of training kicking in. There's no hesitation, no wasted movement. He takes his truck, a battered but reliable Ford pickup, and drives straight to Mexico, the desert landscape flying past in a blur. The border crossing is seamless for him. He's moved between worlds like this countless times. He finds Gigi, who is desperate and terrified, recounting what happened. She describes the club, the men who took Gabriella, her voice trembling. Rambo's face, usually a mask of quiet contemplation, hardens into a granite-like expression. The stakes are clear, and the game has begun. He's no longer the rancher, he's the hunter. The hum of the engine is the only sound in the tense vehicle, a low thrumming that matches the rising anger in Rambo's chest. He's entering a familiar landscape of violence and desperation, but this time, the target is personal. He knows this isn't a mission, it's a rescue, a retrieval of something infinitely precious.